Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, you know, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
He's an old head.
Youngins are really starting to get on my damn nerves.
He's a purveyor of nonsense.
Yo, folks.
He's a Georgia High School coaching job influencer. His favorite Bible verse is, Jesus wept. He's the man of constant sorrow, Chris Lamb.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sun Coaches Podcast, day 2 at the Nike Coach of the Year Clinic in Orlando, and we are here right now today with Coach Zack Darlington from Deland, Florida.
Yes, sir.
Coach, glad to have you.
Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited.
Coach, I know you get tired of hearing this, but you can't get away from it. You legacy, got to play for your dad, the legendary Rick Darlington. Couldn't be with us this weekend because he's world traveling on the
He's all over the place now.
clinic circuit. People will be glad to know he's not at a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Yeah.
He's actually working.
He might be. He might have lined it up so he can tag along and get a concert in while he's out there.
He's a groupie.
Oh, he is. He's a diehard, that's for sure.
And but anyway, you got to play for your dad at Apopka.
I did.
And what was that like?
Oh man, an experience. I'll say that. You know, obviously growing up, getting to be a ball boy. You know, I've got a 2-year-old son now, and he is on the sidelines. He's on the field pregame, loving it. And I've always thought, like, you know, I don't ever want to force him into it. But I realize now with my son what I got to, you know, grow up having and love it. You know, love it. Fell in love with the game. Fell in love with I think I fell in love with the way he runs a program too. You know, I got to see that firsthand, you know, obviously from outside before playing. And then once I got a chance to, you know, step in and play for him, you know, just given all kinds of opportunities, great chance to go and playing an offense. It's a little different, that single wing style offense. No, it's not the one that jumps off the charts for most quarterbacks, but played in a variation of it towards my senior year there. We kind of spread the ball out a little bit and was fortunate to still be the only son that ever brought him a state championship. So I kind of hold that above my brothers, that's for sure. I even threw that in my best man speech to my older brother this past year.
You probably will never let them forget.
Oh, absolutely not. I told him, I said, you know, Ty, you know, I brought a state championship ring, and I think this might be the first ring you're getting tonight.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, no, it's great getting to have that in the family. You know, played with my older brother, Ty Darlington. He went on, played at Oklahoma. He's now coaching. He's at Incarnate Word, coached there at Oklahoma, and then went to UF under Coach Napier. So got to watch him really dive into the football scene as well. Obviously, it's kind of our family career, you know,
right.
Playing out at Nebraska. That's where I played college, and watching kids grow up and play there. And I remember one of my best friends, Sam Foltz, you know, he passed away, but when I was telling him, I'm like, you know, Sam, you got a chance to go be a NFL punter. Like, you know, what are you going to do? And he's like, you know, honestly, I just kind of want to go back and run the farm with my dad. And I'm like, what? And so learning, like, there's these, you know, second, third generation, you know, family trades.
Right.
You know, there's been lots of the Berry boys that played at Apopka. Sheriff Kevin Berry was the sheriff of Orange County. Now all of his sons are in law enforcement as well. So that kind of family trade, I kind of pushed it away for a little bit, wanted to do my own thing. And I enjoyed doing that. But then just realizing with my experience, and what the path that God had kind of brought me down with football, I wanted to at least get a chance to use that. So getting involved in coaching football has been a blast, and getting to do it with my dad is the best part.
Well, what was it like going to Nebraska, being a Florida kid, going to somewhere that's, I'd say, pretty alien compared to what – I mean, it's just a totally different universe.
It's very different. It's very different. We actually had –
Still flat.
Very flat, very flat. Now, once you get off I-80, now it starts to get into some rolling hills. Those tractors and combines, they get their work out there. But no, so growing up here in Florida, I was a Lake County boy. So I grew up in Umatilla on the lakes, hunting gators, hunting, doing all that. So wearing boots wasn't foreign to me. So when I got to Nebraska, hey, even better opportunity to wear boots, right? And my buddy, same guy, Sam Foltz, he used to give me hell about, man, you Florida boys wearing these boots. You wear those boots to the beach? And I'm like, Florida's not just one giant sand beach. Like there's Central Florida's pretty swampy. And so, no, it's definitely a different area, but absolutely just devout college football culture. I mean, that was honestly what drew me there. Husker Nation was what I wanted to be a part of. I wanted to get to experience Husker Nation. And so having here in Florida, you got UCF, FSU, FAU, FIU, you got Florida, Miami. I mean, you've got all these schools, and there's house divided everywhere. And you go to Nebraska, it's solely Nebraska football.
Right.
And so that was probably the coolest part for me, was just an entire state behind you.
Yeah, being the head coach, my head coach, we were coming back in last night from the social, and there were guys sitting out by the pool, and we told them we were, they wanted to know who we pulled for, and we're like, well, we're from Georgia, and they were like, oh, okay, so I guess you're Georgia fan. We were talking about it this morning, and I was like, well, it's just Georgia's so much different than Florida, because in Florida you can have 3 or 4 colleges that are really, really good. Yeah. Where in Georgia, that's not going to happen.
Right.
I mean, the odds of Georgia and Georgia Tech being national powerhouses at the same time
in this era, yeah,
and they're the same. Being D. I mean, now the Georgia Southern's D1, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just different. So I get what you're saying there.
Yeah, no, and it's what it makes college football fun. I remember I was there during a time where we were trying to come back. I mean, Nebraska's still trying to come back to what they were, but that was when we were barely making a bowl game and stuff. But I had been selected to carry out the American flag for several years, and I remember getting to stand and be the first one out of that tunnel, and the smoke clearing, there being 95,000 people screaming every single Saturday.
They've had sellouts there for what?
I think they're over. Yeah, they're over. I think they're over 370 consecutive sellouts. So it's
they're going to come no matter what.
No matter what, it doesn't matter what.
Well, it's Nebraska. What else do they have to do? I mean,
see, that's what everyone wants to say. But I mean, I guess to your point.
But no, I mean they are very supportive.
No, absolutely. They're devout. They're devout. Through it all, they weather everything with you, and that's what makes it a special place, And
who was your head coach when you were there?
So I was recruited under Coach Pelini. Honestly, he reminded me a lot of my dad. Very fiery, very aggressive coaching style, but at the same time, though, you knew that he cared about you and he loved you, and he'd go to bat for you with anything. And then finished out my years there under Coach Mike Riley.
Who was the best guy you played with while you were at Nebraska?
So
on either side of the ball, like that you just went, oh my God, that dude is.
So I mean, there's still several dudes that are in the league, but probably the first that was just a freak athlete that jumped off the table. I was kind of your short, white, scramble, run around, quick quarterback. And I thought I was fast. I my best 40 time I had clocked a 4.4, and I'm like, I can move. And I remember there was one play we ran I'm on scout team. We ran a jet sweep, like quarterback throwback, and so I kind of sell it, hand off the sweep and just kind of nonchalantly kind of walk off, let like the plays going the other way, and then take off, run down the sideline. And as I'm running, I'm like, the ball's in the air. I'm thinking, I beat this so bad. And out of nowhere comes this paw, swats the ball down, and that defensive end, Randy Gregory, he was all of 6'5". He was the most freak athlete I've ever seen. I mean, he's like an alien creature. He's fast, long, explosive. I mean, he would just bench press.
Thought you were back in Apopka.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And that's where I realized, it's definitely a different game. But then Malik Collins as well. He's with the Texans right now. Got to watch him. Unfortunately, they got knocked out, but he's been having a great career. Started off with the Cowboys, but he is one that, he's a nose guard, and he's 300-plus pounds coming off the ball, and I remember running for my life from that guy. And I'm like, dude, I thought I was fast, but it don't matter when you get to that next level. But then Jordan Westerkamp, he was one. He had all those. He went viral on the catch behind his back on the sideline where the ball got tipped. He just instinctively threw his hands behind his back, caught it, got both feet in bounds. Just always had a knack to go and find the ball. Great route runner. He was plagued by some injuries there at the end. Actually took a hit. I remember his senior year, fractured his back, and so it's kind of hemmed him up. But he was an incredible athlete there. So and then Amir Abdullah as well. He was a phenomenal running back, most explosive, low to the ground, shifty guy, and just phenomenal leader. I mean, talk about a guy that he was our Husker power lifter of the year. I think the two years I played with him, and he was an absolute freak.
So you moved from quarterback to receiver.
I did.
Because you were telling me earlier you just wanted to play.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a chance to play. When they got rid of Coach Riley, or Coach Pelini, Coach Riley came in. He brought in Coach Langsdorf. Coach Langsdorf, I believe, was coming from the Giants, and so there was a much more pro-style approach there where he's looking for a guy that looks like Eli Manning, and I'm about the opposite end of the spectrum as you can get on that. And so we're wanting to go, 7-step drop, big angle game, and just not really my cup of tea. And so when I realized I probably wasn't going to get a shot playing quarterback, I just wanted to play somewhere. And at that time, like I mentioned earlier, one of my best friends, Sam Volte, passed away in a car accident going into fall camp. He was our punter, and he was our holder as well. And I had held in high school. And so they had a bunch of Wildcat stuff and kind of, some polecat or swinging gate packages that they wanted to do with, our PAT team. And that was where they were like, hey, at least we'll use you. My roommate at the time was our kicker, Drew Brown. And so wanted to at least give Drew someone he could be confident and comfortable in, make sure that he had a good, mental state going into all those kicks. And started working there, played a little bit more special teams, but then saw a chance to try and play some slot receiver too. So played there. That was different. Kind of got told that I'd be moving to receiver the day before we started fall camp. So after the entire offseason could have been running routes and stuff, I was like, come on, man, you're not going to let me – I've never run a route in my life. And so now you want me to go to do it at Division I level. But played some receiver there. But I actually, when I first got my chance to step in the game was when I finally – and this is kind of just a God thing. I think I got so fixated on myself and my dream and wanting to play quarterback, that I wasn't ready as a leader and as a teammate to step into that role. And so when I finally was willing to kind of set aside my personal goals and willing to serve the team the best I could was when God came back around and was like, I think now you're ready. And so I actually got to my first snaps at quarterback came versus Tennessee in the bowl game that I was slotted as a receiver. I actually took the field, both gloves on, got my pass fire mouthpiece in. I say Lamar Jackson kind of copied my style because we looked pretty similar as far as the way we were dressing. And so got to play a little bit of quarterback, a little bit of everything, and got to really be a part of the team and have a role.
Well, that's probably cool now as you're working with high school kids as coach. You can tell them, look, man, you just need to be a football player.
Absolutely.
That when you get to the next level, they'll
absolutely.
If you can play, you can play.
If you can play, they will find a way to get you on the field. And I tell guys is all you need is the opportunity. Once you have the opportunity, you do with it what you want. preparation plus an opportunity is going to equal success. But if you get the opportunity and you have not prepared, you will not succeed. And so you've got to make sure that when that opportunity comes, you're ready for whatever role that is. And so we've got guys that play all over the place. I mean, our kicker this year, we had our kicker, he quit the first week before week one, the week of week one. And so our kicker was actually he was a freshman. He was going to be playing like slot receiver and quarterback. A super dynamic athlete. I mean, he's playing varsity baseball this year as a freshman. And I was like, hey, man, if you can do this, we need it. And he was willing to step into it, and he took it serious, took it, like it was his role, perfected his craft, and it carried us a long way. To make a run, you've got to have good special teams.
Well, did it ever occur to you at Nebraska when you were finishing up your career that you might want to coach at the college level?
So I thought about it, thought about trying to get in GA, and that was kind of the time that I was kind of going through some, I guess you could say, identity stuff, trying to figure out who I was, what I was going to be. Having my dad coach and then now my brother coaching was, wanting to find a way to do something that was just unique and something different to me. And, was fortunate to have a really cool career, did some private security contracting for several years, then ran a custom rifle business and precision rifle instruction company, and got to train all kinds of dudes, from SWAT teams to, big game hunters. Loved it. But I kept getting called back to football. It was anytime someone wanted to, hear my story or some of the things I went to, I just realized I had all this experience that God had given me that shame on me if I'm not going to share that with the next generation.
Right. I went to school with a guy that Milt Miller was a legendary coach in Georgia, and his son, we went to Georgia Southern together, and we used to laugh and tell stories about his dad. And he goes, well, it's funny to y'all. He played.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
For him. And he's an engineer, so he didn't go into coaching, but he's like, yeah, this is all funny to you guys, but I lived with him.
Right,
y'all weren't at home when we got our head kicked in, and he comes home and he doesn't speak to you all weekend, or he's mad. You see it from the player and he's my dad and he's coach.
Right. And I tell you that dynamic is unique. It is because, my dad does a great job though he doesn't carry stuff off the field. Now, he does carry in terms of brainstorming and innovation. But he, if I made a mistake on the field, he never held that to me after. And then that's where, I realize now, especially now, not only coaching, and having played for him, but now being a father, I realize the stuff that he was trying to teach me and instill in me as a young man is the same stuff that now I'm trying to help teach my son. And so there's so much about it that translates to life after football, and I think that's so key. And a lot of what we do is helping guys understand that, look, life between the lines ends eventually. And the stuff that you're learning about, whether it's the mentality of playing football, whether it's the mentality of the run game, of being physical and attacking, an adversary head on, that's going to be life one day. You're going to have, different adversities. You're going to have trials and setbacks, but you've developed this mindset of charging head on and knowing that you can conquer it and giving it everything you have because, you've got people depending on you. That's something that carries into life as a man, as a husband and a father. And
you've gotten back, you do your go off on your own. You do your thing that you're like, man, this is cool. I like doing this. I enjoy it. And you get called back to coach at the high school level,
right,
and you're reunited with your dad. Did you have to? Obviously, I know what we're running. I know what we're doing.
Right.
How much has he changed? Like as far as his.
Well, he loves changing stuff up, but as far as the basics, really the foundation, the fundamentals, it's all there.
So you didn't have to relearn the playbook.
Oh, to an extent, yes. I think what helped, the role that I kind of played was helping guys understand. I tell guys, and this is where I guess I have some credibility, is like, look, guys, I played in it. I was in your shoes, but then I was also fortunate to be in your shoes and win a championship. So I can tell you there's a method to the madness.
Right,
there's
right.
science behind the crazy. And that's where it's not for everyone, but also, winning's not for everyone, so it's one of those things where, to be elite, to be different, to stand out, if you're going to be elite and be of a small group, then you can't do what everyone else is doing, And so as far as the offense goes, yeah, there's always, ever-changing stuff, and just being able to roll with it, I think, is what's helpful. And I know as a coach now, guys are watching my reaction, and so when there's something changed or there's something new, I've got to be very aware of how I respond, not just verbally, but non-verbally with my body language,
right.
with, because that a lot of times that says more than anything. And so when I come into it with confidence and, hey guys, look, this is going to work, this is going to be good for us, they've got a much different approach, and I think we'll see the fruit of that labor pay off, sooner rather than later when you kind of come into it with that approach.
Well, and regardless of how unintelligent sometimes we think these children are, and they may actually not be the best book, they watch everything they do.
Absolutely.
Everything. They do pay attention. We think they don't all the time, but they watch what we do.
They do. And that's where I think
they pick up on
100%.
I mean, if you don't believe it, just put something crazy out there on social media. They'll find you.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's what I got to tell guys now is, man, social media, you got to be – that's a whole different podcast in itself.
Well, I mean,
but
yeah,
when it comes to just kids watching, I see it with my son. Man, I gotta watch some of the stuff I say or do or how I respond, or even if it's an inside joke, he thinks he's now on the inside, and so he can say it too. Or
so he figured it out at 2.
Exactly, and that's where when he said something the other day, and my wife and I just looked at each other and she goes, "He's your son." Like he is
apple
you.
trees make apples.
Yeah. She goes, if that apple didn't fall right next to the tree, I don't know what did.
And how cool is it? You're coaching at the same school with your dad, and you get to see him with your son. I mean, he's right there. It's not you have to get in a truck and travel 2 hours to go see Pop. I mean, he's our coach or whatever he calls him.
He goes by Pawpaw. And so it's funny though, because it's when I've learned when you become a grandparent, very different than when you're a parent. And so he absolutely adores my son. My son looks up to him so much. Every time he comes over, he's running up to see Pawpaw, and he'll put on a helmet and go show Pawpaw. And so it's one of those things where getting to be close like that is great. For this time of life,
you
I think
to
it's
see
a
your
blessing.
dad as a different. You see him as a coach. You see him as your father. Now you're getting to see him as your son's grandfather.
Yeah, and that's unique. And same thing with my mom. My brothers and sisters becoming aunts and uncles. It's very you just see different roles. It's funny because it's almost like the role of responsibility kind of goes down, and the role of getting to do all the fun stuff just increases tenfold.
Yeah, he can get him jacked up and then send him back to you.
Oh yeah, get them all riled up. So, but no, it's great. I love getting to do, coach with him and get to be a part of him, just because I know so much about what that program at Apopka did for me as a young man. I know the value of it. And so being able to not just have one coach that fully believes in it, but having another coach that has seen it, has, bought into it and have it pay off tenfold has been, I think it's very, very impactful. So,
well, how are things, this past year at Deland? I mean, what's it look like? I know it didn't end like you wanted it to.
Right. But
you told me y'all reclassified this year in Florida, and you said whoever comes out of y'all's region is going to be.
Yeah, that's going to be the highway to hell, like we've been talking about. That's going to be quite the battle. But no, Deland's got a lot going for it. We're making big strides. The biggest thing is I tell you what, when my dad goes into a program, like I said, it's not your usual program. It's not your typical approach. And there's a lot of shell shock usually that takes place. But the kids at Deland, our players, have bought into this program almost instantly, and so I think we saw that this year with, last year we won first district championship, and I believe it was over 10 years. And then, we lost first round of playoffs to Osceola. And I think a portion was just like, hey, won district championship, made the playoffs.
Just happy to be here.
And we're looking around like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, we're just losing sleep, like not happy. But there was that same hunger in players too. And so this year, we went won district again, won a regional championship, ended up losing the fourth round of Venice in the semifinals. Outstanding program. Great team, great atmosphere, possibly one of the coolest atmospheres I've gotten to coach or play in high school football. I've seen Lakeland. I've seen, some pretty cool atmospheres, but getting to coach and play in it, they've got a very, very unique setup that is, I don't know, I have to think it's intentional, but there's a psychological aspect that goes into it with the fog and with the horns. And I mean, because when you got an atmosphere like that, and these kids, I mean, this was the second time in school history we made it to the semifinals. And so these kids have only ever heard the myth or the stories of, when Deland made it that far, and then to step in there and you've got this atmosphere like you've never seen before, it can set the stage, pretty bright. But, we had a great team. Getting to coach quarterbacks, I love it. Obviously that was what I played there at Apopka, played in college too. And so coaching TJ, who was our senior quarterback this year, got to coach him for 2 years. This year, he ended with over 3,000 total yards, 33 plus touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And I like to take that 0 interceptions as a little badge on my shirt because that's one where he made huge strides in just his reading coverages, reading routes and concepts, and just being very lethal with the shots that we did take because my dad's offense, we ain't throwing it 20, 30 times a game. I told TJ, look, like if
throw the ball in the bag and the bag on the bus.
Yeah, our air raid offense is like, if we throw it 15, it's like, whoa, look at Deland. They're slinging it everywhere. And so, he did a great job with the shots that we did take. And so it helps having dynamic playmakers like Javon Ross. I mean, that kid, one of the most dynamic players I've ever seen play on grass. He played both sides of the ball for us. I mean, he literally has the ability to flip an entire game in his own hands. He did that versus Spruce Creek in the playoffs. We were down 10-7, and we run counter. He takes it for about 60, gets back on defense at safety. Linebacker puts a hat on the ball, pops the ball out, takes one bounce. He catches on the run, takes it for 40, turns right back around, goes to play safety, gets a pick. We go, hey, you're hot, man. Let's feed the hot hand him sweep, takes it for another touchdown. So literally flips the entire game in about 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, those kind of kids make us look really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
and it was all coaching.
What we're
we
doing.
coached
Oh, absolutely.
I can tell you how many scoop and score drills we do in practice, right?
Yeah, we work on that every day.
Absolutely.
So what, when are you going to sit in the big chair? I'm not talking about because your daddy ain't gonna quit.
Oh no,
that ain't happening.
No. I told my dad already.
I'm not talking about taking over for him. I'm talking about when are you going to decide that you want to be a head coach?
I do think I've told my dad right now, whatever. If I take a head job, it's not going to be in the same state as you. There's no chance I'm playing you on my schedule regularly, and so. And so, I told him, if there was ever a chance to do it, it would be somewhere different. But what I've learned especially with my dad, when we've had the most success, I think the coaches, the staff that he's had around him, that's the biggest difference I've seen. And so, being young, it takes me time to kind of get to know the different guys that are out there coaching and find the guys that are truly have the same calling as you and have the same purpose and mindset and approach, or at least are able to, push towards that same purpose from a different angle.
Right.
So, I honestly haven't really thought about it a ton. Just right now, I'm just enjoying kind of getting to add to what we're doing,
Right.
And learning as much as I can, because there's so much that I have zero experience in from the coaching, standpoint.
Right.
And so there's
Well,
a
it's
lot.
like I've told people, the X and O part is what it is. The raising money, dealing with parents, dealing with your teachers and the staff, dealing with all the other stuff. That's the thing that. And it doesn't matter. I could do a million podcasts. You could come listen to other older coaches and that are know way more than I do talk about, or even your dad. We can tell you guys, you younger guys, until we're blue in the face, but until you experience it,
right?
You're never ready. But I mean, you can prepare. But I mean, because there's so much that goes on that's outside of the actual football part of it, and.
The seasons only last for so long.
Right, but I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to think, hey, man, go for it. I mean, when you feel like you're ready, if you feel like God's put you in a place that's where you need to be, man.
Yeah. Well, and if I've learned anything, the way that God works is He'll open that door, and
you're going to be where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, you're going to be where you're supposed to be. If you're not supposed to be there, He's going to push you out of that situation. And, so that's really where, whatever God has called for me, if He presents it, I'll follow it. And that's what I've learned throughout my career, especially, at Apopka, having my injuries and having those concussions and, going through that and trying to decide whether, I should be playing football, then getting to Nebraska, having the, battling for that that quarterback position, losing that job. At that point, trying to decide, do I go to another school? Do I transfer? Do I go to a JUCO, bounce back? Do I, I looked at possibly transferring to Auburn, looking at, okay, what is that situation and am I supposed to be there? And I remember thinking, I had this like clear as day moment, realizing, God brought me to Nebraska for a reason. I don't know what it was, but I remember having complete peace with the fact that I needed to go to Nebraska. And I think it was to build me into this man that I was supposed to be as a husband, as a father. And so the year that I decided I was going to stay at Nebraska because I wanted to be a part of, that Nebraska football program, I wanted to be a part of that Husker Nation, I ended up meeting my wife the next year. And so realizing that if I would have taken that in the moment, what sounded best or what sounded the most, like whatever I should do for my personal goals, almost scares me to think that where I'd be without my wife and without my son.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Well, Coach, I sure do wish you the best of luck. I can't wait to see what you get into.
Oh, absolutely.
And we're gonna make sure. I know he's gonna listen. We're gonna make sure you got a ring over one of your brothers, and you got on my podcast before your dad did.
Yeah, absolutely. I told him on that phone call right when he asked me how the clinic went. I was like, yeah, it went great, but I gotta go. I gotta jump on this son coach's podcast. He's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So,
but I sure do appreciate you coming on, man. It's great to see you, great to meet you. And love to have you on again sometime.
No problem. Thanks so much for the opportunity. It was great to meet you as well.
Thank you.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.